Pipes Around the House. In this video I'm going to show you how to wire and fit a 3-pole fan isolation switch, like this. I'll show you how to wire the switch to a timer fan using some 3-core unearthed cable, and I'll show you how to wire the switch to a non-timer fan using some twin unearthed cable. I'll go through some basic wiring diagrams to help explain the wiring, and I'll give you a practical demonstration where I physically show you how to fit and wire the switch. Just remember, all domestic electrical work in the UK must meet the requirements of the Part P regulations. So in a typical scenario, we need to get power for our extractor fan from our ceiling light within the bathroom. Within the wiring, you'll have a neutral terminal, a loop terminal, a line terminal, and an earth terminal. This is a typical setup of some ceiling light wiring. If you want more specific information on this, you can watch my other video, How to Wire a Ceiling Rose. There'll be a link to the video pop up on the screen now, and there'll be a link to the video in the description section below. Now the loop is basically your permanent live, and your line is your switch live. So whenever the bathroom switch is turned on, it'll provide power to the line, which in turn provides power to your light bulb, turning your light on. This is the terminal we need to connect into with our fan in order to turn the fan on and off. If you have a timed fan with an overrun, then we also need a permanent live which connects into the loop. In the scenario I'm going to show you here, we're using a timer fan, so we need to use some 1.5mm 3-core unearthed cable. If you don't have a timer fan, you can just use the 1.5mm twin unearthed cable. If you have the old colour wiring in your home, you can use these tables to convert it to the new colour wiring. For this cable, we'll have a grey wire, which we'll use as our neutral. We'll have a brown wire, which we use as our permanent live. We'll have a black wire, which we'll use as our switch live. And you'll have the bare wire, which we'll use as our earth. We need to place the grey wire into the neutral terminal. We then place some blue tape around the end of the wire to indicate it's acting as the neutral. Place the brown wire into the loop terminal. We place the black wire into the line terminal. We place some brown tape around the end of the wire to indicate it's acting as a switch live. And then we place the bare wire into the earth terminal, placing some earth sheath over the end. Now somewhere between this end of the cable and the extractor fan, we need to place our 3-pole isolation switch, which allows us to isolate the power to the fan. This is usually placed above the bathroom door. If we take a look at the back of the 3-pole isolation switch, we'll have 3 terminals on the top, which is our supply, and we'll have 3 terminals on the bottom, which is our load. And you'll usually have something along the lines of an L1, an L2 and an L3 on the top, and you'll have the same on the bottom. In some scenarios you'll have an N underneath the L3 to indicate this can be used as the neutral, but in theory you can place any wire into any one of these terminals. If it does show an N, then obviously place the neutral into that terminal. The important thing to remember with the 3-pole isolation switch is that whichever wire you place into the terminal on the supply, you place the same wire into the load at the bottom. So in this example, we're going to place the black wire, which is the switch live, into the L1, and again we place some brown tape over the end to indicate that it's acting as a switch live. We place the brown wire into the L2 terminal, and we place the grey wire into the L3 terminal. On this example, it's labelled up with an N to indicate that it's the neutral. We place some blue tape over the end of the wire to indicate it's acting as a neutral. Then we take our second length of cable, which is running from the switch down to the extractor fan, and we do exactly the same. Placing the black switch live wire into the L1, we place some brown tape over the end of that to indicate it's acting as a switch live. We place the brown wire into the L2, and we place the grey wire into the L3. We place some blue tape over the end of the grey wire to indicate that it's acting as a neutral. Now you'll notice we have 4 wires but only 3 terminals. Now the reason for this is our earth wire needs to be continuous. If the earth wire was connected into one of these terminals and the switch was turned off, it would completely disconnect the continuity of the earth wire, which could be dangerous. And this is why we place the earth wire into a separate connector block just behind the switch. This maintains continuity right the way to the fan, even when the switch is turned off. So we place the earth wire from the supply coming from the light into the connector block, then we place the earth wire to the load into the other side of the connector block, connecting the two together. If you're attaching your 3-pole isolation switch onto a metal back box, then this will also need to be earthed. To do this, you simply add another earth wire from this connector block and take it to the terminal in the back of the metal back box. This cable then runs up the wall and through the ceiling back to your extractor fan. We then place the black wire into the terminal labelled T in the extractor fan. We put some brown tape over the end of the wire again to indicate it's acting as a switch live. We place the brown live wire into the L terminal, and we place the grey wire into the neutral terminal. We place a piece of blue tape over the end of that to indicate that it's acting as the neutral. Now in a standard extractor fan, they're plastic and they're what's known as double insulated, which means they don't require earthing. So we just terminate this earth wire into a connector block and leave it behind the fan. This means that in the future, if this fan is replaced with another appliance that requires earthing, there is already an earth wire available to connect. Now in this example we've used a timer fan, and basically the switch live is what turns the fan on and the permanent live is what allows the overrun of the timer. So if you didn't have a timer fan and you just had a fan you wanted turned on and off with your light switch with no overrun, you could do this with some twin earth cable. In the practical example I'm going to show you in a minute, we're wiring a timer fan, so we're going to be using a 3-core earth cable like in this diagram. I'm now going to show you the wiring setup for a non-timer fan, and in this scenario we've replaced the previous 3-core earth cable with this twin earth cable. In this scenario we have a blue wire which we'll use as our neutral, we have a brown wire which we'll use as our switch live, and we have the bare wire which we'll use as our earth. Obviously with the earth wire we place the sleeve over the ends. We don't need the 4th wire in this setup because for a non-timer fan you don't need a permanent live. So we place the blue neutral wire into the neutral terminal, we place the brown wire into the line, and this is now acting as the switch live rather than the permanent live, and we place the earth wire into the earth terminal. Then at the other end of the cable, where we go into the isolation switch, we're now going to place the brown switch live wire into the L1. The L2 we're going to leave empty because there is no permanent live in this setup. We then place the blue neutral wire into the L3, and again we place the earth wire into the earth terminal block. Then again we match the corresponding colour wires, so we place the brown wire into the L1, we place the blue neutral wire into the L3, and we place the earth wire into our connector block. Then in our extractor fan, where we don't have a timer, you'll find there'll only be a live terminal and a neutral terminal. So we place our brown switch live wire into the L, and we place our blue neutral wire into the N. And again we place the end of our earth wire into the connector block, providing earth continuity all the way through the wiring. A common place to put your 3-pole isolation switch is above your bathroom door, and this is so that if somebody like an electrician came into the home and needed to isolate the fan, it's easy to find. If your isolation switch was placed down here alongside your bathroom light switch, then it could accidentally be turned on while somebody was working on the fan, making the fan live, which would be extremely dangerous, which is why we place it up there above the door. The isolation switch is physically secured to a patras box or a metal back box in exactly the same way as a standard light switch. So now taking a look at the back of the switch, let's make sure it's the right way up, and on this particular switch it says top by there to indicate that this is the upper side of the switch. And on this switch we've got an L1, an L2 and an L3 on the supply, and we've got exactly the same on the load. And if you look on this particular switch, on the L3 in brackets we've got an N indicating that this can be used as the neutral. Now in theory you can use any one of these terminals for any wire. The important thing to remember is whichever wire you place in the terminal at the top has to be exactly the same corresponding wire from the other cable directly below. So if you place the permanent live into the L1 on the top from the supply, you'd need to place the permanent live in the L1 at the bottom on the load, and so on. So if I turn the switch around, you can see on the top it says off, and on the bottom it says on. So currently, with the top facing upwards, that is in the off position, and that's why it's important to get this the right way round. On a 3-pole isolation switch like this, when the button is turned to off, the supply will be live on the top, but the load will be dead on the bottom. It completely isolates the power to the load. The other thing you'll notice is there's only 3 terminals on each side, but obviously we have 4 wires. Well, this is because one of our wires is the earth, and the earth must be continuous. So we'll connect the 2 earth wires together with a connector block outside of the switch, and I'll show you how to do that now. So taking a closer look, we're on a plasterboard wall and we've got a plastic patras box. If you're on a masonry wall, you're likely to have a metal back box. So we've got this cable here, which is our supply, which is bringing power from the light, and we've got this cable here, which is taking the load to the fan. And you can see for ease, I've labelled these up, which is something I like to do as it's just good practice, because if you ever return to this unit, you can always quickly identify which cable is doing what. So referring back to the diagram from earlier, we can see that the brown wire is our permanent live. We're using our black wire as our switch or temporary live, so we've put some brown tape around that. And we're using the grey wire as the neutral, so we've put some blue tape around that. The earth wires are bare, so we cut some earth sheath and we place it over the top. So first of all, I'm going to take the wires from the supply cable and place it into the top of my switch. So I'm going to place the black wire, which is the switch live, into my L1 and tighten up. I'm going to place the permanent live into the L2 and tighten up. And place the neutral wire into the L3. and tighten up. Now I'm going to place the wires from the load cable to the fan into the bottom of the switch. And we do this by corresponding the colour cables in exactly the same way. So where L1 has the switch live at the top, we'll place the switch live in L1 at the bottom. And tighten up. Where we have the permanent live in L2 at the top, we'll place the permanent live into the L2 at the bottom. And tighten up. Where we have the neutral in the L3 at the top, we place the neutral in the L3 at the bottom. And tighten up. Now we just have the two earth wires left, and to maintain continuity, I'm going to connect the two together using this Wago 222 connector. So place one earth wire into one of the terminals and flick the switch down, and that is secure, and then do the same with the other one. And this connector block can just be left like that inside this patras box. If you have a metal back box, there'll be a terminal in the back of the box and you'll need to connect your earth wiring into the terminal. And we can do this simply by using a 3-terminal connector block, like this one, and then we place our 2 earth wires into these 2 terminals, and then we get an additional length of wire like that, place some earth sleeve over the top, we can place that into the 3rd earth terminal, like that, and then we can place this end of the earth wire into the terminal in the back of the metal back box. In this scenario we've got the plastic patras box which doesn't require earthing, so we'll go back to the 2-terminal connector block. Now's a good time to test the switch and make sure it's working, and then once you're happy with that we can place it all back inside the patras box. Then just locate your screws into the threads behind. So now the installation is complete, we can just turn the switch on like that, and the fan will now operate when the light switch is turned on. If we need to isolate power to the fan, we just turn the switch off like that. For more information on how to wire an extractor fan from start to finish, you can watch my other tutorials. In one tutorial I'll show you how to wire the extractor fan so it can be operated by the light switch, and in the other tutorial I'll show you how to wire the extractor fan so it can be operated by an independent switch. Links to these videos will pop up on the screen now, and there'll be links in the description section below. So hopefully you found this video useful. For more DIY, how-to, household tips and product review, please watch my other videos and don't forget to subscribe. I've been Pous Around the House. Ta-ta, farewell!